Stop talking negatively.
Hey, that's the spirit.
The show's on.
You're spiritual right now. Man, I'm feeling so spiritual. The Spirit of God is here today. Everybody. Oh, boy. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Let's go. Live for Spirit Week here at ALLCITY HQ, DNVR HQ, a.k.a. the DNVR Bar. What is Spirit Week? Lynn will tell you all about it, and us, all about it here very, very shortly. We are in the Toyota Lounge room by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Great show for you today because trade season has begun.
We're in it. Maybe the best season of the whole year.
And my least favorite season, but it is
Mine
the
too.
season of trades, and they have begun with some magic.
Woo!
With some magic.
Dramatic
Dude, you were
pause.
on it today.
Yeah.
We're also going to be talking about Steven Adams, also extended. We're going to talk about why the draft is shaking up to be a trade one. And we have some fun stuff planned as well, including a mystery box we'll open up.
We have a
some other
lot
things.
going on today, I feel
It's
like.
a little chaotic of an It's a true off-season
Yeah.
off-season show here.
A lot going on.
Brendan Vogt's here.
Rocking my Sombor Shuffle shirt today for Spirit Week. I'll bring it a little more into the frame. And I love wearing this one because I love the shot we saw in Belgrade, fellas together against Giannis and Team Greece. And that's what I think of, actually, when I hear Sombor Shuffle, as much as we're Nuggets people. So I'm rocking this shirt. Feeling good about it. Another banger design from D-Line.
What do I think about when I hear Sombor Shuffle? I think about just the formation of it. I mean, Yoke's such an odd player, and when he started taking it, it was the oddest shot.
Right.
Nobody's invented a new shot for like 20 years. And all of a sudden,
it's like we went from the Euro step to the Sombor Shuffle.
and then it was like, wow, there's a new thing here. But
Yeah.
the Greece one was pretty amazing.
It's my
It's a
favorite
great
one.
Harrison wins here.
I'm wearing the original Jokic MVP shirt. I love this shirt, man. Looks like he's...
Yeah, it's just one MVP.
this was the original one, I think.
Crazy,
The
man.
first MVP, kind of before we knew anything. You know, it was almost a previous lifetime that
Yeah.
we were living. But this is a classic. I mean, I love the design, and kind of looks like Jokic is looking through a stained glass window. I've always thought,
Yeah,
and it's almost like, you know, where like we go to church or Ball Arena to watch Jokic play. That's kind of the theme of this shirt. I feel like
it's kind of like almost like a propaganda poster, and it's
Yeah.
like we're gonna follow him. You know, he's leading the way.
Right.
We're behind him.
Right.
We will follow him.
like we're in a cult, which
yeah,
we
like,
might
which we
be.
are, which
Yeah,
we very gladly are.
Yeah.
I am rocking, of course, the Nug Life with the trophy. To me, the ultimate,
Yeah, it's a great shirt.
the ultimate Nug Life with a little trophy in there they can never take from us. That's that. All right, let's get into our story here. To top stories today.
That it's Spirit Week.
It's Spirit Week,
It
Lynn.
is Spirit Week at DNVR, and we have a theme day for every week today. Every show across, not just DNVR, the entire ALLCITY network, we're wearing our favorite shirts. That's today. Tomorrow is Mystery Guest Day, where a mystery guest will be joining the show.
We don't even know who it is.
Allegedly, Kale is booking our mystery guest. So if you have any predictions on who that might be, let us know. You'll be shooting in the dark like we are. Wednesday, Musical Chairs Day. We might have somebody that's not normally on the Nugget Show. Maybe like, I don't know, Eric Lacroix of the Av Show pop on. We'll be switching around guests and a host a little bit. Thursday, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We're raising money for them all week. But definitely on Thursday. And then Friday, our usual Die Hard Day, where you guys can join the show.
Yeah, we love that, man.
I have heard that Mystery Guest Day it's also how the Nuggets are going to find out who their new general manager is.
Is the mystery guest the GM?
Yeah. Everyone's going to show up to work and learn.
Also, if you guys normally submit super chats for the show, if you want to do super chats, do it in the form of a donation this week.
Yes.
There's a donate button right below the stream. You can also go to bbbs.org/ALLCITY. Big Brothers, Big Sisters. That's who we're raising money for this week. All week long, every show across the whole network. So if you usually do a super chat, donate using that link. Let us know and just type your super chat question in the regular chat box today.
Yeah.
Just like at the top of your comment, say donated, and then put what your super chat would have been.
Instead of a super chat, donate
it.
Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Really cool org, man. I'm glad we've made that partnership work out. Really cool. What's the latest wind on the GM hiring?
Yeah, what do you got?
What do you got here? Because the draft's coming up, so I know there's been a lot of
coming up.
I know a lot's happened over the weekend. I'm sure.
Right,
I mean, I haven't checked, but I'm sure.
Actually, I just saw some news come across the timeline.
Is this true?
Today. Oh, that was the Clippers hired.
That was Monty
former
McNair.
Sacramento
different
Kings
team.
GM,
A different team.
Monty McNair. He's joining their front office.
Okay.
In an advisor role. So no Nuggets GM news, but the Clippers are adding to their front office.
We are in the territory now where it feels like the news could break during the show.
Yes, it could.
I have a few predictions I can make right off the top here that I do think we're going to find out in the next. Should I go real bold? How bold should I go?
I don't know, man. How bold do you want to go?
I'll say the next 36 hours.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's my first. How spicy, Kale? Where are we going? I mean, at this point, it feels like it should happen in the next 36 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 3 weeks of one pepper.
I mean, but here's the thing. A week ago, it would have felt spicy if I said that did not happen.
This is true. I think we should create a clock and a countdown, and if it doesn't happen, Adam's a liar. Does that work for you?
I do think that is fair.
Okay.
It feels like things are happening behind the scenes.
It does feel like things are happening. Here's another prediction for you guys. I predict the Nuggets will, to some extent, clean house in the front office.
That's an interesting prediction.
I predict that this will not just be everybody moves to the right one chair situation.
So there will be some change.
I predict there will be some turnover in the front office.
Interesting.
When they let Calvin Booth go, it was just Booth in the front office, but as it was explained to me, a lot of those contracts are set to expire. So
And that's part of the prediction
that
here.
was sort of part of kind of cleaning house. Maybe there was a timeline in place, as it were. So we'll see here who the Nuggets actively renew to be a part of both the front office and the coaching staff.
And likewise, another part of this prediction is, of course, we all remember it was Tommy Balchettis who was the assistant GM. Then all of a sudden, interim GM was not assistant. It ended up going to Ben Tenzer. And so, and then on top of that, the biggest piece here is just, as we've stated, love Ben Tenzer. Think he's a really smart guy. Think he'd be really good in a specific type of role in the front office. But he'd have to be balanced out, in my opinion, probably balanced out by some basketball person. Is that an ex-player, a former GM, somebody that's got experience over here, over there, ex-agent, somebody that comes more from that world? And I wouldn't even be surprised if they hired, like I said, a couple of those people, probably more entry-level people, because let's be honest, the Cronkies aren't going to be spending to get 3 top level of this or that. My hunch, though, is that the Denver Nuggets front office will be meaningfully different than it was last year. And meaningfully different even from the Tim to Cal regime. I think it'll be even more different than those two groups.
And if that happens, I think it's a great thing. I think this entire organization could use a little bit of turnover. It's definitely some fresh eyes on the roster, just some new perspectives. I think where this roster and where this core is at, that can be a really healthy thing, regardless of how much maneuverability you have with the roster and trades and free agents this summer. I just think getting some new perspective in the doors would be a great thing.
Yeah. Another prediction. I predict that the Nuggets' top 8 guys of next season, most, if not all, will be the guys from this season.
Damn it. Damn it.
I would say
We were doing so good, man.
This is a prediction. I'm not telling you guys I know what will happen. This is my prediction just based on,
based on their lack of maneuverability and the
Based on,
14 times in a row that
And
they
also
said they
just-
apron level.
I mean, again, all you can do is kind of read. The longer you cover the NBA, the more you could see signals and be like, okay, signal, what's going on? Or do you talk to the...
hang on though, top 8. So Russell Westbrook.
I said almost all.
Almost all. All right.
Almost all. I think he will be the one guy who is not back.
And that would be because he
Again, I don't
chose
think-
another destination, maybe more money.
A lot of people come in, by the way. Somebody says it's Legler. That would be fun. I'd have a real good source.
He's the mystery guest and the GM.
But no, this is part of it. I think that's the one guy that I mean, again, who knows? They don't even have a GM yet, you guys. Like, we'll see what happens.
Right.
But I would bet that he has gone. And I have a strong sense that the Nuggets, being this late into everything, with trade season already happening, I have a sense that the Nuggets are going to say, you know what, we are close. We do probably need to replace Russ with a vet. We have a couple levers to pull for that. Is it Bruce Brown? Is it another guy like that? And that's the guy that comes in, but everybody else, that's the true moving up a seat. P-Watt, Julian, you guys move up a seat. Deron Holmes, you're now in the second row. You know, everybody moves up one row.
And I mean, that part of it is not surprising at all, I think. The signaling and the messaging from Josh Kroenke, who, you know, has been in charge really ever since they fired Calvin Booth. He's been, you know, the face of this and the front man here. I mean, he has signaled that that's going to be the route that they most likely take. I think partly because their hands are a little tied in terms of trades they can make and signings they can make, and also because I think he genuinely believes that that might be the best route to take as well. I think both of those factors are at play here in his mind. So that part of it, I'm not surprised by, if that's what happens.
It almost seems like David Adelman is kind of operating from the sense that that's what's going to happen, and then he'll see if anything changes, you know, because everything he said from the end of Game 7 till now, admittedly about the controllables on his end as a coach, are about internal development. We've heard it a bunch. We've heard it, I think, too many times for a lot of fans' sake. I think you're onto something. I mean, first of all, if there were a big card up their sleeve, as we know, there's no lead decision maker yet. So right now, all signs point to exactly what they've told us, which is, can the players on the roster come back and get better?
It does feel a little bit like the Nuggets. I mean, here's the thing. If you step back and say Jokic is really what keeps the door open, and he's in the apex height of his prime right now, yeah. I still think he's going to be good for 4 or 5 years. I mean, that's kind of the window where I think Jokic's going to be good enough to be the best player in any series. Certainly the next 3. Mm-hmm. And I do wonder if Denver should have some flexibility the next year. They also will have some big bills coming due and different things like that. But I do think they'll have the flexibility, more net flexibility next summer than this summer, especially if they can rehab some of the value of a P-Watt, I mean, who knows, maybe of a Zeke, maybe if some of the guys that they have that are movable, Michael Porter becomes an expiring. So I do wonder if the Nuggets view this year as hey, we were close. We do, let's see what we can do. We have a new coach. What were the real problem? Coach front office. Well, we're going to redo the front office. We got a new head coach and he's bringing in his own guys. Like, that's the difference. And if we're wrong, if we miscalculated that, maybe they lose next year, but they have the flexibility going into the next summer. It does feel, look, if I'm a fan, I say, hey, that's kicking the can down the road. That's, hey, we know how this is. I think all those things are valid. But at the same time, you get the right people in place. It is hard to turn. NBA organizations are a cruise ship. It is hard to make pivots, and if they don't feel like they can pull one off this year, or if they're just behind the 8 ball for their own doing, then maybe that's how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it would really help if we people in our position couldn't sit up here and say, well, maybe if they'd had a GM in time, that the exceptions and all of that, or a particularly savvy trade could have paid out as it comes to fleshing out the rest of the roster, getting it to 8 and not just 6.5. But that's not where we're at. We're patiently waiting to learn something new.
If the Nuggets do run it back with most of their top 8 returning and David Adelman and maybe it's Ben Tenzer at GM, maybe it's somebody else, I don't know. That is going to be a tough sell. That is going to be tough to sell to the fan base, I think. Because that's pretty much, what you said after last season. You're going to have maybe open the season with a very similar rotation. I think David Adelman's a very different head coach. Like, he is the least of your worries, I think, in this run it back scenario.
Agreed.
I think he's a very good coach and way different from Michael Malone. And I think you'll see it. But then at the same time, I feel like bringing back the same rotation even puts more pressure on him to make it work with the same group of guys. I just think that's going to be a really tough sell if that's the vision that ownership has for this roster next year.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, what am I on the clock? 36 hours. Kale, do the math. Is that 8
We're
o'clock?
now down to 35 hours and 45 minutes.
35 hours. So where are we going, Kale? We got till midnight tomorrow, basically. Basically midnight tomorrow, we should hear. That's my prediction. It's just a prediction. Let's take a break. On the other side, one team is making moves. Actually, two teams. Memphis Grizzlies, Orlando Magic, and it has implications for the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk about that on the other side.
Guys, check out the Hall of Fame app, the HOF app. You're probably wondering what it is if you've never used it. The Hall of Fame app gives you access to advanced stats, historical data, and powerful tools to help you bet smarter. This is an app to help you bet smarter and make more money. The app is built for the everyday sports fan. It's easy and intuitive to use. You'll get an idea of your parlay's chances to hit, identify weak legs so you can weed them out before you place them. It connects to the major sports books, so your bets load right in there, and it analyzes all your bets, breaks them down, runs them through some computer, some formula, tells you how to make your bets better, how to improve as a bettor. Our listeners right now get a 7-day free trial and 50% off their first month. Just download the Hall of Fame app. Visit halloffamebets.com, HOFbets.com, HOFbets.com. Use the code DNVR at checkout. You get that 7-day free trial. You also get 50% off your first month when you use the code DNVR at checkout. Download the HOF app, Hall of Fame app on iOS and Android, HOFbets.com, enter code DNVR, and you're all set.
It's almost grill. I mean, you could start grilling now if you want. It's hot in Denver. The great day for grilling, the 4th of July just around the corner. No wrong way to grill per se. But
There's a wrong way to grill.
But there are ways. Oh, that's right.
There's a wrong way to
There's
grill.
so many wrong ways.
I actually grilled wrong this weekend. I grilled my steak way too well.
Well,
Screwed it up, man.
Rough.
you probably also
Father's Day,
forgot.
I was cooking.
You probably also forgot to fill up a cooler with Miller Lights. That's actually the optimal way to grill since 1975. When it's a good day to grill, it's a good day to drink a Miller. We call that Miller time. Stock up today for the grill season ahead. It's Miller time. Miller Lite is the perfect light beer for beer lovers enjoying a barbecue with friends and family. Barbecues get heavy. Your beer does not need to be heavy. It can be real light, real delicious, and real classic with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/DNVR to find delivery options near you, where you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Kale has informed me he's given me till 2:30 a.m. tomorrow for my 36-hour rule. I don't need it. 34 hours. 34 hours.
I don't need it.
Midnight tomorrow. That's when I predict. I mean, again, it's just a guess, you guys. If I'm wrong, you don't have to come after me.
No, you do. That's the point of the
It's
clock.
more. It's just becoming
the chat will come
ridiculous.
That's the point of the clock, yeah.
There was a big trade over the weekend. A blockbuster trade. I don't know if it was a blockbuster trade. A very big trade in which the Memphis Grizzlies acquired our old friend KCP, Cole Anthony, and 4 first-round picks
John Morant.
for Desmond Bane.
Close.
Desmond Bane.
So Desmond Bane's a really good player.
Yeah.
Orlando desperately needed to get some shooting around their core guys, and they get it without giving up a whole lot. Yes, it was draft picks. 2015, it was the 16th pick. Is that exciting? I think people overvalue picks that are not lottery picks.
Right.
And
after like 10, it's whatever.
Then you got Phoenix's pick next year, which Phoenix right now could be a disaster, but I would bet they find their way to the middle, probably around 14, 15, 16 or higher. And then a 2028, 2030, as well as a pick swap. So the picks, 4 is a lot. To me, the pick value is like medium. It's not that great.
Yeah.
More importantly, I look at this from Orlando and I go, I love Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
They desperately need shooting. And I think Desmond Bane's weakness is you need to have a really good defensive two-way guard next to him. I love Suggs. You guys know that. I'm one of my favorite players. I love the Orlando Magic even more. Yeah. And I already loved them.
This trade reminds me of when the Pacers traded for Pascal Siakam.
Cool.
That's what I thought of because they needed another offensive initiator, just another engine to their offense, somebody to take some of the pressure off Halliburton. And they traded, I think it was 2 or 3 first-round picks for him in that trade. And they went for it, and it obviously worked. And I think the Magic are doing the same thing here. They're like, we need another offensive guy. We need a shooter. We just need somebody who can create, who can mix it up on offense a little bit. And, I mean, Desmond Bane is a great fit there. I love the defensive aspect that you brought up because Yeah, they have a great defense around him, but it's not like Desmond Bane is a minus defender that's going to make you lose your whole defensive identity. There were a lot of other guys the Magic have been rumored for, like Anthony Simons and some of these other one-way players. Desmond Bane is a better player than most of those guys that were rumored, and he's also like a capable defender. So he's a great fit, and I like the Magic going for it, and the East is wide open. So why not?
I was going to say, with great respect to the Pacers run, I think if you look at the way the last few years in the East have worked out, and honestly the West too, really, you should look at this if you're close and think this could happen. The right matchups, one injury, it could happen for us. So the Knicks did it with Bridges. It didn't work out for them. But I like that they went for it, honestly. And they were in that position. They probably just shouldn't have blown game one, That's more important to me than relitigating that choice. So I think it's a similar move like that to me, and I think teams should be going for it. Here's the other thing, too. I'm sorry, for the Grizzlies, what position does this put them in now? Yeah. Are they trying to turn everything around? Because that's a nice haul. That's more than expected. So do you capitalize?
It is more than expected.
Is that all they needed with regards to where they want to be with respect to the aprons, or does this put them in position to rebuild?
Picks are just like poker chips. You just have them. They get actualized, but the actual hoping for a player to become what you need, it just takes so much time. But they're just poker chips for you to make trades. And so Orlando is cashing in their ability to make a big swing like this for Bane. Memphis acquires the ability to make another big swing. So I think that's how I would look at it for Memphis. Let's get to them in a second. The one thing I'll say about Orlando, the East seems more open than ever. Mm-hmm. And Orlando is slowly I think Desmond Bane is a smart player. Good player, skilled, smart, can play a lot of different styles. Franz Wagner is that. Suggs is that. Paolo Banchero TBD, but he's super skilled. But we will see how he develops as he actually gets a coherent team around him. To me, they have the foundation of an Indiana-like team in that they are smart and versatile. And Bane, to me, I don't know if Bane gets traded like this 5 years ago, because you wonder about the talent. Is that enough talent? But now you look at it and say, yeah, but they're smart guys. We're putting a lot of smart, skilled guys together now, and we can become a dynamic team. And to me, I think that's interesting. I actually think it's a fallout from how the last few years have gone, where you don't feel as hopeless because you don't have one of the 7 best players. You're like, yeah, but we have 3 of the top 30.
I mean, Indiana making it to the finals should be an eye-opening moment for a lot of these teams in the Orlando Magic range. You know, specifically in the Eastern Conference. Maybe it can be in the West too. I think in the East, it's just the path is a lot more clear, especially next year with Boston in flux. But why not go for it, man? If you're a Magic fan, you got to be absolutely hyped. The picks you were getting, I don't think any of those are going to be like A+ level, lottery level picks in terms of the ones you gave up. There's an opening right there. You're already a firm playoff team before this trade. What were they, the 5 seed last year? The 4 seed?
Who?
The Magic?
Well, they had all those injuries, so I think they were the 7. Let me look it up.
Anyways, you're firmly in the mix, I think, before this trade.
Yeah, they were 7 because all the injuries. They were
right.
They were a top 4 team.
Before that, they were right there. And I mean, this puts you you can say close to the inner circle of best team in the Eastern Conference.
If it all works out for them, I absolutely agree. They are being aggressive here, which is another signal to me. But every year, things change, and you kind of have to read how the NBA is changing. I think teams are going to be less long-term, more short-term focused.
Yeah, I do too.
And this is Orlando being like, we've had bad injury luck the last 2 years, but we know our team's good. We haven't got to see a full playoff run, but we know our team's good. Let's just go now. Desmond Bane, let's go. Let's see what we have, and it might work out for them. I'm at least intrigued. I'm not going to be picking them.
If it times up with some form of a leap from both of their young stars, both of their young forward stars, then they could really be cooking.
Do you make anything of the fact that KCP is part of this deal, along with Cole Anthony and 4 first? That whatever we thought about KCP and how valuable he'd be if you signed him with that contract, he was basically the salary match of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted to get rid of him. That's the biggest take.
We need shooting. We have to get rid of KCP.
Right. We need offense. We have to get rid of KCP. I mean, that's probably looked at as a pretty bad contract now, right?
For sure. I mean, it was salary filler, basically.
Yeah.
That was how do we make this match?
Right. The interesting thing I was thinking about is what is the Grizzlies' direction?
Let's go there now.
Like, they just traded, one of their big three with John Morant and Jaren Jackson.
You could argue he was been their best or second best player. I mean, I don't think it's even an
definitely can.
argument. I think it's kind of solid.
I mean, if they put Jaren Jackson on the market, like he would fetch maybe 5 first-round picks. I think he's definitely a more valuable player than Bane.
Yeah, but he's also a weird player. I think he's hard to add to a team.
I would love to add him to the Nuggets. I think he'd be fairly easy to add here.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies, I feel like, can go in either direction still. Because, like, you can make the case, KCP, a good player on a good team, like, he can kind of fit there with Morant and Jackson. That's a good fit. And you're like, they still have those two guys. They could go in either direction still.
Think about this, though. I was thinking about it. They weren't that competitive this year, right? Who's going to be bad in the Western Conference? Is Utah going to be bad next year? I think most likely. Portland, most likely, although they'll be a feisty
flirting with not bad.
New Orleans, I think, likely to be bad. They might be tearing it down, but you never know with New Orleans what they're going to do. Sacramento, who knows what direction they're going to try to go. I mean, they might do something really dumb. And then you have Phoenix, who I don't think is going to try to be bad, but might be bad. Everybody else is good. And I wonder if Memphis looks at that and goes, do we want to press through a loaded Western Conference at a moment in time when there's all these other teams pressing? Or should we use this moment in time to collect assets and let's sit out the first couple wars here and enter the third war here in 2027?
After falling short in a couple of different and weird ways, they were the next up team in the West on a rise, depending on who you asked, or at least could have lied to themselves about that being the case. And they seem like they're kind of on the way. Like, they hit their peak. They felt a little short of the ultimate goal, and now they're kind of, looking at falling behind, I think, the arms race in the West. So they could turn this around in a huge trade. They could get really aggressive.
Like if they just came out of nowhere to get Kevin Durant or something.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
They have all these picks. They have JJJ. It could have just been about apron flexibility for now as they kind of tread water, but one way or another, barring a huge trade, I kind of look at Memphis as a kind of purgatory limbo team right now.
I think most likely I agree. They're probably on their way to tearing it down.
And yet they have some players I actually like. Like Jalen Wells, I like a lot. So there is, if they were to pivot to me, I would be like, you're not starting from the worst spot to pivot. You can move Jaren Jackson and get something really good out of it. And all of these things, I mean, Adams, by the way, we could talk about him just really briefly. Steven Adams, who every Nuggets fan wanted to add for the vet minimum, just signed a pretty good size extension.
Maybe the MLE, but
maybe the MLE. Throw that dream away. He just signed a massive extension, which means Houston is committing to their too big lineup.
Yeah. Not that massive. I mean, 10 mil a year.
That's a nice deal.
Zeke Nnaji money.
Yeah, that's a little more than Zeke Nnaji, which we pretend is the most money anybody's ever spent.
Tiny bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think pretty expected. And I mean, that's also signals to me like that they're probably not going to trade for Kevin Durant. I feel like they like their team. They're just kind of running it back.
That's an interesting one too, and Windhorse has reported that the Kevin Durant interest is much more with Houston is much more on KD's side than it is on Houston's side. By the way, I think that's kind of dumb, but we'll see.
Maybe. I mean, Houston. If I were Houston and the Suns kept calling, I'd be like, "It's nice to hear from you. What's up with Devin Booker?" I'd be far more interested in Devin Booker because I think
you just hope Durant's like talking on speakerphone in like the practice gym.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, because we would overpay for him.
Yeah.
There is something to say about Houston being very close but missing a score like that of that ilk. I think there's also something to be said for maybe not accelerating your timeline if you're not ready yet. So I get it. But good for Steven Adams, by the way, who kind of briefly looked like he might be on his way out of the league. And
true. If you would have said this 3 years ago that he'll sign.
He didn't tear his Achilles like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he missed. He was out.
Like
then it felt like he was just a throw-in. Like he was available. Anybody want to take on his contract? And then all of a sudden it's like,
I'd
he's
take
good.
him right now in a heartbeat, man.
So kind of interesting there. So a lot of moving and shaking over the weekend, even though we are still 10 days away from trade season. I know people will say, oh, you mean the NBA draft? No. I mean trade season. The draft, we'll get to this on the other side. You used to have 3 different things: free agency, trade season. Free agency got eaten by trade season because free agency just became trade season. There was no more free agents. And now, this year, it seems the draft is also getting swallowed up by trade season.
It seems like the draft is just a vehicle for teams to make trades.
In fact, it
just
literally is.
Where everybody can just trade.
So we're going to talk about that on the other side.
Guys, get hooked up with some Mando. Right now, Mando is a men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every single aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. I actually have some Mando in my office right now. A deodorant stick. Bourbon leather, of course.
Of course.
I mean, what else?
I was going to say that you smelled
be?
a bit like bourbon leather.
Like bourbon leather, yeah. Well, thank you. You can thank Mando, actually. They have a bunch of different scents you can choose from.
Thank you.
Bourbon leather, Cloverwoods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport. Mando, the best men's deodorant out there. It works better than other deodorant as well. You can use it anywhere on your body. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10.
Oh.
With Mando, the average odor level is a 0 out of 10. I don't know how they did that test, but they did. It was clinically done. The Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Right now, you can get $5 off your starter pack with our code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code DNVR, shopmando.com, SHOPMANDO.com. Support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
If you own a home or a business, it may have occurred to you that you need to get new flooring in this home or business. And that's not something you'd really thought about before, but wait. The jingle from your childhood, the ad from the DNVR pod. Empire Today is here. What's your best bet for new flooring? Empire Today lives and breathes flooring. They'll be with you every step of the way. Different ball game with them. This is the type of purchase that can be so overwhelming, the process. A lot of surprises pop up in the process. Hopefully you're dealing with experts. When you're dealing with Empire Today, you know that that's the case, and you know the separate group of people that are going to come and install that floor in your home or business. They are experts as well. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. A $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/DNVR for full details.
Alrighty, we are back. Make sure you throw us a thumbs up there if you're enjoying the show. Even if you're not, just do it.
Yeah, why not?
So yes, let's talk about the draft, which is just, did you say 9 days away? Have you done the math?
I might have. That
9 days
right.
away. It's next week. Nuggets don't have any picks, which makes it a little tough. Although they did work out some players this year over the weekend.
They did.
Some potential second round and undrafted guys.
They did. Do we have the names?
I was throwing it to you.
I'm sorry. I'm late on this. I'm looking for it. Okay, I think I've got it.
You got it?
Yes, it was some late second round, potentially undrafted names.
See you going
I think
through
the
it.
Nuggets account tweeted this out at some point.
Is Kale on it?
Kale, if you give me 1 second.
In the meantime,
Let's pivot instead to go to Tankathon here. Do we have Tankathon to pull up, Gale? Because here's the real story about the draft. The Nuggets don't have a pick, but it doesn't mean they can't be active. Again, my prediction, they will not be. But if they were to make trades, I think this day will be crazy. Scroll on down there, Kale, to after number 13. Remember when we talked about this before? So if you look at picks 13 through 30, only 2 are owned by the team who actually has them.
my God.
Look at that. Sacramento's traded. Atlanta, Miami,
I found the
Orlando,
workout, by the way.
Detroit, Memphis, Milwaukee, Golden State, Minnesota, Lakers, all traded. Then you have the Pacers. They own theirs. Then you go Clippers, Nuggets, traded. And what's just below that? We can't see it on the screen there. Just a little. Well, I see now. I can't. Just scroll a little there. Well, it's too tiny for me to read down. But you can see there's one other team is at Boston. Boston is the other team that owns their pick. So already all of these picks have been traded. Just without thinking, Vogt, Doesn't it feel like the system's a little broken?
Everyone keeps going, well, who's going to need these picks? And then every 3 years, it's going to turn out, oh, man, the Thunder are the only team drafting? So, yes, it does seem a little bit weird. But like we mentioned, I think the late lotto to end of the first round draft picks, I think maybe this is a bit of a bubble bursting or something, where for so long they just got the label of first round pick, mystery box first round pick, could be anything. You need to have these for maneuverability, and maybe that is just changing a little bit in terms of if this is what it takes to get something done, you make it happen. We certainly haven't seen a ton of that from Denver recently, but league wide, yeah, I think that's a trend that will probably continue as long as this perceived parity persists, because as Wind and I were talking about earlier, why not go for it right now? Like, the Pacers are 2 wins away from the finals, and most respect to them, they've earned it. It's just not what anyone saw coming late last year. So I do think this is a trend that might continue.
Kevin Durant could get traded on draft night. Giannis could get traded on draft night.
Right.
There are big teams looking to make big swings. Toronto really wants to find themselves a superstar. They could get traded. They could make a big trade on draft night. The Nets trying to clear the deck. There are so many teams that could make big swings on draft night. And that's why I think the draft, I've never watched the draft and felt like the draft wasn't story number one. I kind of expect it to be this year. It's going to be Cooper Flag. Okay, cool. Ace Bailey, cool. After that, everybody, hold on. The draft's on the
I have
monitor
heard
over
nothing
here.
about anybody not named Cooper Flag in this draft. There's
no buzz.
Hype
Yeah, there's no
behind
buzz.
anybody. I mean, yeah, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Canupa. Like, I know some of the names expected to go in the top 7, 8, 9, 10, but there is just no buzz about any of these guys. And I'm with you. I think that's how it's going to feel on draft night.
Yeah. It's going to feel secondary.
Yep.
And if there's big trade, like if Kevin Durant gets traded on draft night or Giannis,
Right.
imagine being the 7th pick in the draft. You know, like your dreams come true. You're a lottery pick.
In the interview, he's got like the 76ers hat on.
Yeah,
like Ace Bailey, what do you think about Kevin Durant going to the Spurs?
To me, this is what's crazy is that it does feel like it's all shaping up there, which is why, and by the way, can I renege on my my prediction that it'll be 36 hours?
You're already going back on it?
Can I go just as bold?
Why?
Can I go just as bold, but the other direction?
Sure.
Wait.
I have to. I have a new take.
Okay, so you're taking back the 36-hour
Taking it
prediction.
back.
You're going with a new one. Okay.
It'll be more than 72 hours.
What?
I think the Nuggets will not have a GM within 1 week of the draft.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
What changed in the last 20 minutes?
I just looked, I just thought about it a little bit more. I just thought about it.
All right. Did it have anything to do with the
just thought about
prospects
it.
the Nuggets
I
have
just
worked
thought
out
about
in the
it.
draft?
So can I take that out? So
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
after
yeah.
Friday is the new prediction.
Should
Okay.
we schedule a weekend show?
We might
After
have
Friday.
whether
Oh,
it's scheduled
no.
or not, Buckhead.
Oh no, man. I'm trying to go home this weekend.
Oh, it's tough luck, buddy.
Tough luck.
Hope your flight has Wi-Fi.
What's the toss? I'm laughing too hard.
Can we talk about it? How is Wi-Fi not better on planes in the year 2025?
We don't have to talk about it, but it is annoying.
Do we want to talk about the prospects the Nuggets
all right,
had
bring
in
it
for
back.
a workout? I've
You're
done
ready
my
now.
first draft prep of the offseason. I just
Okay.
did it. Yeah, I just did it. So
Hunter Dickerson.
Hunter Dickinson.
Close.
Yeah, close. According to friend of the show, Young Music, ESPN, the Nuggets had 4 players. I'm sure they've had more, but in for a workout last week.
Okay.
Those players were Hunter Dickinson. He is a 7'2" center. He played at Kansas most recently. Darius Hannah. He is out of Bradley, 6'9" forward.
Okay. Power forward, huh?
They had Caleb Love. I've actually heard of him and seen him play. Out of Arizona, played at North Carolina before that. Point guard or kind of combo guard, 6'4".
Kind of quick guy,
He can get hot. He's a microwave scorer.
And Omar Ballo, who is out of Indiana, 7 foot big man, a senior, originally from Mali in Africa.
Of note, all second round to non.
I think all probably undrafted guys.
Because as we know, the Nuggets are working with just that for now. So
right,
yeah,
they know what they've got.
They don't have picks. So there's
also all older guys, seniors, post grad even.
Some of this just about filling out the summer league team as well.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, just another indication of the what's not going on in Denver right now.
It is interesting to think of bringing in these guys in. I mean, if the Nuggets were trading into the first round would seem crazy to me. They have so many young guys. Deron Holmes, that's your first round pick. You got him, all right?
Yeah,
you already got a guy.
That does not happen.
You don't need more guys that are like first round pick type guys. So if they were going to get a guy, it'd be second round pick or undrafted. Undrafted makes sense, right? G League team, two-way contract, nothing there, nothing to lose. Even a second round pick to me seems wild unless you have plans to get off of a Hunter, and maybe a couple other places. People, Denver doesn't seem like they should be in the business of buying second round picks this year, in my opinion.
Buying a second round pick, that is like the biggest flyer you can possibly take.
Yeah.
And like when you buy a second round pick, you're putting money into it. You're doing that with the idea that guy's going to be, on your team at least in a two-way spot. Two-way spot or regular roster, most likely two-way. But that'd be going in with the idea you really like this guy. That would be, surprising as well. It would have to be.
Yeah, and it's different than stockpiling second-round picks, which in the current NBA economy might have more value as a deal sweetener, using 2 to 3 seconds to get a deal done at the deadline, especially if you were in Denver's position right now. Like, that's what Denver would want second-round picks for, to be the team that pounces on someone who falls through the market and becomes the cheap, desirable asset or piece you could acquire. But just drafting new guys, yeah, we've done this. They've done this, I should say. And there's a couple just sitting at the end of the bench already.
I have a feeling that one of these guys that comes and works out, maybe it's one of these four, maybe it's people who have already been for workouts. I've got to think these are guys for a summer league team.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, is Hunter Dickinson your summer league starting center? I think that's kind of the route they're thinking here.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
So that's the draft, man. And again, it's a really weird one for the Nuggets this year because, one, you never know. I don't want people to think that I am like pre-reporting on a story here when I'm saying these things. These are just me like trying to read where things are going. I don't know that the Nuggets are going to make a big splash this offseason. I still hope they are fielding calls. I hope it's possible. I hope I kind of hope they do.
Oh yeah.
But I would bet, if I were a betting man, I would bet on the Nuggets more or less bringing back the same roster with some minor tweaks. And I would bet on them not getting into the draft in a meaningful way this year, maybe more, whatever. But I would bet that the draft night is going to be really fascinating for the Nuggets because I think our predictions going into the draft for what our top 10 in the West in order are changes from the start of the draft to the end of the draft.
A lot of wild card teams in there. Dallas could go up or down.
Wow, yes.
We talked about the Grizzlies, who are one of them for sure. Houston sitting in that spot. Probably not Denver. And then, all right, even humor me on this. The Thunder could still fall short and decide a big move is in their best interest as well. So this landscape could change a lot in the next month.
We can talk real quickly now just about the NBA Finals. They do circle back to Game 5. It is crazy how much that series is mirroring Denver's. At least this is what I think. I don't see this take, really out there, but to me, it really has mirrored it. Game 1 was a steal. Indiana should have lost, but they stole it at the end and came back. Game 2, something of a blowout. I mean, comfortable win. Game 3 just outplayed them. That was the one where you're like, hold on, is Denver better? Same with Indiana. Is Indiana better? And then Game 4 was the one that felt like a collapse. This game felt like such a collapse for Indiana. They had it in the bag. I will say some pretty questionable officiating throughout the game, mainly in the first half. Did you guys see the Lou Dort push on coming off of the screen where he gets that? To me is the one that drives me nuts. There's nothing he could have done about that, is there?
No, I'm completely with you, man. I almost don't want Lou.
Halliburton could not have done anything other than fall over and lose the ball.
Lou Dort actually may be almost, I think most people feel this way, but almost still sneaking through. It's like he's so physical on defense, and then if you try to set a screen on him, He sent himself falling like a rag doll.
Did you see the no call he tried though that people were showing where he twists like a helicopter?
Because it's like, dude, you can't do both. So I've actually found him very hard to root for, even as those threes fall for sure. So, but
you still root for him.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I also want to say, I know our fans don't want to hear too much of this. Credit to the Thunder, man. I think people kept saying in these spots when they got tight and they got pushed, what would they have? And this appears to be another series where in a spot, 2-1 on the road, they've played well and stepped up. You know, in this last game, the other guys did get tight, but SGA really did have it in the fourth.
Dude, it was that Shea was horrible all game. Thunder doing whatever they can to play around.
Shots,
and then in the fourth, really in the clutch of the fourth, he just came through big time.
Yeah.
After a bad game.
And we've said it, you know, I think for most of the playoffs, he is built to the right stuff, I think. Like, and a lot of that's the same goes for a lot of guys on that team. Like, they have the right mindset. They are pretty even keel when the tension really rises. And you do have to give them credit. But to take a little away from them here, my kind of feeling about the Thunder now is they're not this all-time juggernaut team. I just don't think they are. Where I thought they might be, you know, in the first couple rounds of this thing. Like, they're beatable. They're very beatable. The Nuggets should have beat them. We'll say the same thing about the Pacers, regardless of how this series turns out. But they're a really good team. They're beatable, though.
I think Shea looks as good as he deserves. You know, I mean, he did struggle in this game, but coming up clutch, to your point, is important. I feel like Chet, and to a lesser extent J-Dub, but Chet in particular, you know, he's a really good player that just has major limitations. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what he's looked like this whole playoffs. I do think he'll get better as his handle gets better, because that is a weapon that makes him tough for bigs to guard and can do different things. And I think that's coming. But defensively, even, there's just been some times where I'm like, yeah, he can be neutralized in a way that, you know, in the regular season, he's not really neutralized very often.
Right.
To the point Wind was making, you know, about the Thunder, I keep thinking about how in what does seem to be some form of a new era, we're learning year to year more. And the Nuggets dominated. And if other people didn't see it, we insisted this is a team that has a chance to do something special beyond this. They didn't.
Yeah.
The Celtics dominated
to
the point where there was a conversation about, is this an all-time great team? In the end, I think they were just a team that won a title. Maybe that's true of the Thunder too, the same way it was true of the last two champions, you know, but all the same, the Thunder have timed this up where their rise kind of meets up with a gap year with the other powers in the West. And at the moment, they appear to have the flexibility to keep themselves in this thing. So credit to them for that. But maybe we're just not in an era of like a team can be so much better than their peers that they actually crack that conversation.
I think that will be something to monitor over the next 5 years. Is just our juggernauts gone, or even the good teams like Oklahoma City, they're 68 wins, but they definitely look more beautiful than a typical 68 win team.
Sure.
And that's kind of what you're getting at.
The Pacers did you see that screenshot, or I'm sure you guys are watching, when all the Thunder players had their hands on their knees?
No, I haven't seen
late in that fourth quarter. You haven't seen that? It was like SGA and Caruso. It's like, man, that feeling is so familiar.
The opposite is kind of true for the Pacers, though. I felt like the Pacers kind of choked.
Same with the Nuggets, unfortunately.
Same with the Nuggets, unfortunately.
Really. And I think both teams, where the Pacers, rightfully so, were getting all of this conversation as look how connected they are and how smart they are. I think rightfully so. And Denver, rightfully so, entered that series tabbed as the team you'd expect to win the fourth quarters. But it did not shake out that way. And so, look, I think some credit is due to the Thunder here for just people theorize, well, will it be different when they're checked? And they've been checked a little bit. And so far, they've at least held the line.
Yeah. Predictions for tonight?
Thunder.
By a lot?
No, I think it's a close game.
I want to predict. My brain says Thunder. Heart says Pacers, though, man. Heart says Pacers.
Man, and Pacers would be incredible. I think it's Thunder as well.
Me too.
Are you going to open that?
So now I got a package, and we'll have some fun today. We got a package here. Kale, what is this?
It's a book.
It's a great way to.
As much as I will
All
tell
right,
you.
somebody sent a package. We love gifts when they're, you know, we can open it on a show. How do I open this, man?
I
kind of like scissors or a knife. This is like taped on the edges.
Preferably a knife.
I kind of want to watch you struggle with it live on the air for a couple
Well, I was
minutes.
just looking at it. There's no seam, and the only spot where you're supposed to open it, they have taped.
What about raw human strength?
Where did
Anybody
Kale
have keys
Oh, I thought
on
Kale
them?
was getting up to get scissors.
No.
Does anybody have scissors over there?
Want to try my
right,
keys
let's
here,
see.
buddy? Want to try my keys?
Yeah,
See if
keys
your
might
keys
work.
will like rip this thing open.
Okay, we're
No.
going at it with keys. Just stab it and then like.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
I might have broke the whatever it is. So it's a book. This was sent to RK and myself.
Okay, let's see what we got. A book.
What the hell? The marketing maestro Adam Mares doing the impossible at ALLCITY. And it's a photo of somebody that kind of looks like me.
That's an AI version of that picture of you.
Is this
someone-
an AI written book?
That's
Look at
an-
this. Can
that's an
we
AI
can't
version
go.
of you.
It's not me, but it's clearly me. It's a blank book.
What in the world? Oh, there's a personal note?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is this what you thought it was, Kale?
Yeah, RK got one, and it had his picture was a little bit more messed up than yours. But
Really?
It was just,
Yeah.
It was really funny, like an AI generated book.
Who
that you
sent
wrote.
this to us?
Wow. An AI generated book.
Can I have it? I'll put it next to my Understanding Michael Porter book someone sent me.
If I post this
dude.
to Instagram, like my grandma will be like, congrats.
Can I see this here?
Dwayne is telling us we have to read the back flap.
An exhilarating tale of ambition and go-to-market mastery. This
sounds
story
like
is
me.
one of triumph and innovation. Forbes said that, actually.
Wow.
That was Forbes, right?
And
Wow.
Oprah Winfrey with effusive praise.
Well, wow.
Quote, this is a pretty good book, end quote.
It's a pretty good book. What an endorsement
When did
Not
you
much
write an
of a sell
autobiography?
from
I had to-
Oprah. Yeah, this is pretty good.
This book shows that true success is the result of relentless passion, smart partnerships, and bold moves. The decision to bring content beta into their marketing strategy
Content
Oh,
beta.
content beta.
Content beta.
was
That's what I
inspired.
thought of,
What
yeah.
a move.
Inc.
Is
magazine.
this, Kale, weirder or less weird than the sausages we got with no indication of who they were from?
I think this is more weird.
This is weird. I mean, we do have just a box of sausages in the freezer.
Yeah,
upstairs.
I don't think we ever
still
ate
have
because
those.
there was no note. There was a note that was like, I got you guys some gourmet,
We still have
salted
those
meat.
upstairs.
I will
Instead,
eat
we got
them, though. I
nothing.
don't-
Wait,
So-
how did Dwayne know to read the inside?
Oh, there's an
flap?
inside thing
Because
right here.
we all opened
Now
arcades
this one
earlier.
this one is my photo. This is
Right.
my old real estate photo from like 2008. Aside from being the author of this multi-award winning bestseller, which has inspired countless growing companies with their GTM efforts, Adam has spearheaded a groundbreaking transformation in the marketing domain throughout the mid to late 2020s.
That's what I always think of you, or when I think Adam Mares, marketer.
Kale, I'm zoomed in,
A
right?
marketing genius.
Can I just want to try to get this cursed image a little more.
It is a little cursed, man, because
Yeah.
it's like the uncanny valley of me.
That's not out.
Well, it's not the only big news. I don't know if you guys saw, but over the weekend, Nikola Jokic and 361 released a new shoe paying homage to DNVR's own Miroslav.
I
the
know,
Miros.
man. This is so cool.
very, very white. I tried them on. You kind of walk funny in them.
That's like that's actually
Yeah,
the Miroslav.
They're
That's a
hard to
good
drive.
detail.
They're kind of hard to drive in, though. I couldn't drive in them. That's the only thing. You walk funny, and I couldn't. I had to take them off to drive because
Somehow I was driving too slowly and dangerously.
at the same
time.
I went down
It
a
was
one
really
way. I
impressive.
couldn't. But other than that, I like the shoes. Other
Yeah.
than that,
Other than that,
other
it's
than that,
great.
these are a good homage. But I don't know if you guys saw. 361 actually, I was skeptical that those were about Miroslav. I didn't think they were, but then I come to find out they had a whole line of DNVR shoes.
Wait,
Oh,
really?
is this true?
Yeah, this is true. Kel, what do you have for us next?
Yeah, so let's check out their brand new. This one is called The Win.
oh my goodness.
that's sick.
This is really good.
Dude, that's sick.
I like the color choice they did
Yeah.
there with the wind right there. Are these
Little
the running
wind.
shoes, Kale? I think these are their running trainers.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, the
I mean,
wind.
I need that for sure.
I would pick those up. What
Haven't
else do they
run
All
have?
right, I think these next ones are called the Votes.
Oh, it's just, get out the
the
votes.
votes.
You
This
guys
was
gotta
for the
get out
election.
and vote.
Yeah, this was for the
Nice.
election.
Voting,
Yeah.
very popular thing right now. So I'm glad
Yeah, a
that
lot of
these are going to
people
fly
talking
off the
about
shelf.
What else? What else do we have here?
And this one is, I think, Jokic themed because of his love of horses.
His love of horses, yeah.
He does
is
like
the-
those.
This is the mares.
He's a horse
Oh, he's got the
guy.
mares. These little,
Please.
this little mane on it.
Please wear this.
This
Yo,
looks
do you
incredible.
remember,
The mares.
I don't know why I remember
I would
this.
actually get this shoe.
This is one of those stupid things I remember that nobody else does. Rasheed Wallace, when he was on, I think, the Celtics,
Yeah.
one of his last season, played in a shoe that had like something like that coming off the tail, coming off the end of it.
Really?
It wasn't a horse mane. It was like a 3-colored kind of like poof thing that came off the edge. I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah.
That reminded me of it.
Dude, there was one, I think it was, I don't know if it was Hirachis or whatever, but they had a little like thing right here that you could like grab to pull your shoe on from your heel. But for whatever reason, how I run, I would always cut myself with it. Like right at the Achilles or something, I would always.
Feels like you're doing something wrong.
I feel like I'm running wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
feel like something's not right.
You and Miles Turner.
All right, what else do we have?
All right, the next is the developmental line.
Oh, this was
otherwise known as the D line.
The D line, okay, the developmental line.
I think he has these.
I like how those ones are by far the ugliest ones there.
But
those do look like you'd mow your lawn.
Artist, they actually look the best.
Yeah, D line. I just wanted to give him dad shoes.
Okay, what else? What else do we have?
All right, and Superstar Dev has his own line.
Really?
Of course he does.
So these are the pro devs.
The pro devs.
Oh, sick.
Those actually, Kale, you did good with these. You
Those
might have
look-
another
those
job
look
here.
just
These
like-
look kind of like pennies.
Those look just like those old Mellow shoes.
I can't believe you spent this much time. The pro devs. Okay, what else?
The All-Star devs.
Dev.
Devs
Devs
by
just
far.
cool.
They're just
Devs
cool
are just cool
shoes.
shoes.
I for real buy these devs.
This is
All right.
actually Dev's side hustle exposed. Just
All right, and then the
Ambassador
Superstar
for
devs,
361.
which are all black.
All black. Yeah, those
those are
are
sick.
really black. I like
So-
them though. Those shoes actually look sick. I would for real wear them. All right, what do we have for
And then
Kale's?
very last, we have the line of super producer trainers. Which
Rice,
come in 4
apple,
colors.
lemon, and the super producer Kale.
Kale.
There you go. I like it. The super producers.
Oh,
Not bad. All right, what do we have for super chats?
That's good.
Are you guys insanely hot
right.
in the studio?
Yeah, it is really hot.
If you guys normally submit super chats, I know we got a couple of them. For this week, instead of super chatting, donate to our Big Brothers Big Sisters fundraiser. There's a button to donate right
don't
where
give
you
us money.
usually chat. Don't give us money. Give it to Big Brothers Big Sisters. We're raising money for them all week. I think we're trying to raise $10,000 across the whole network. So do that instead of super chats, and then still, give your question in the chat, and Kale will bring it up.
Okay, CJ Osborne. What is the percentage chance that Dario actually declines his player option? Big fan of the show, showing love from Seattle.
I gotta think somewhat low.
I think low, man. People don't turn down $6 million.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Very
Make
often.
the Nuggets buy you out.
He
or something.
can get $6 million for doing nothing.
About the story. Donated. Started to think it's Bob Myers.
You know what? Maybe.
What's the hang up then?
Well, you gotta get through the finals.
Yeah, he's part of the finals coverage, so maybe that.
Oh, right.
I think you got to get through the finals, man. I mean, like I said. What is my prediction, Kale?
36
I don't
hours.
know.
No,
even at this
I have an
point.
updated prediction.
Oh,
You missed
sorry,
it, Kale.
Logan was produced.
Yeah, Kale,
So you couldn't. That was such a
blaming the other producer.
Throwing the intern under
sorry.
the bus.
Wait, yeah, okay.
Not this week. The Nuggets will get within a week of the draft before the
Yeah.
guy's hired or gal.
If we're on long enough, we might change the prediction again.
Yeah, let's get on the show before I change it.
Jack Quinn donated trade proposal MPJ to Boston for Tingus Pingus, Sam Hauser, and Nemius Queta. Boston offloads Sam Hauser contract for the next 4 years. Do you mean the Porzingis contract?
Okay.
Maybe
Either
both.
way, and we get 2 backup bigs that are playable.
I'm curious what Boston does. I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I'm very curious what they do because it does feel a little bit like they might be completely done with the era.
And there's absolutely anonymous poster has donated just so we can read their username, which is so weird because their username is anonymous. They didn't even list one. So
That is weird.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
that is
so
so weird.
crazy.
That is so
Thanks for the
crazy.
anonymous
thank
donation.
you
Yeah,
for the
anonymous
anonymous
donation.
donation.
That's incredible.
Incredible stuff.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in with us on this Monday. D-Line is in Serbia. We might have to call him up. Kale is planning a secret guest for us tomorrow. So
tomorrow is mystery guest day. Kale is booking the mystery guest.
who knows what to
The guest
expect?
is- The guest is booked.
The guest
it's
is
confirmed.
booked?
Confirmed in studio?
Or
We'll see.
Wow,
Oh, there
Barack
There
Obama.
might be
That's
two. There might be an
incredible.
in studio and a call in guest.
What?
We don't know.
oh my god.
Man, I can't believe it. Hit the like button on the way out.
We all silly like the mayor.